name is Francesca Bayegan, but I market my art as fallen royalty art. That's how the art is presented. So basically, the brand of my art basically it's apocalyptic, but with a little bit of like an aesthetic apocalyptic vibe. So most of my art is based on ruins or based on ephemera, things that are decaying, but in a beautiful way. So that's more of my brand. So basically, the first question you had was why art. I don't know any other way to I popped out of the womb in a very art environment, and so I just that's the aesthetics, art. That's kind of what I do, and that's all I think about. So there's no art without there's no world without art for me, for sure. I'm not an emotional artist. My art is very set in logic, so I research a lot before I make a painting. So that usually there's 20, 30 images that I find that I use to compile a painting. So I basically look for palettes, like what colors am I going to use, what textures am I going to be using, basically the whole layout, so everything is very structured, and so that that's basically my process. And what I do is I consider myself to be more of an experiential art. Like, I want my paintings to be less about me, less about a lot of people they paint what they feel. I want to create an experience for the viewer, like something that is allows for the viewer participation, viewer engagement. So I try to also make my paintings look as much as possible like a computer or a video game, so that the viewer can piece it together in their mind, like it feels like they're moving. So that's why I use a lot of very thin lines. I like it to be very minimal, meditative kind of an experience. So what was the role of the artist in society? Well, I feel like there's so many different iterations of the artist, but and so yes, there is a role for some type of art in society, but I don't feel like I'm more of a outside of, like, I think of art. For me, art shouldn't have a purpose. Art should be just for its own sake. I don't feel comfortable with teaching people through art or having a political message, because that's not. I feel like for me, art is about the forever, not about the now. So yeah, I'm more of I hate to say this, but for me, I think artists, at least in my opinion, my type of art, they're closer to drug dealers and prostitutes. They're not in society. They have to wedge their way into society, and that's kind of me. I've not had doors open. I don't fit in very easily with the art world. I've had to wedge my way and make society work for me. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it.
So what type of art I identify with? I would say that's a very difficult question, because there's a lot of my art is based on some art historical reference. So I tried to bring together old and new. So I really like artists like Rothko or Jackson Pollock, but I also like to add an older form of art. So that's why a lot of times I look towards Renaissance artists, and I try to make things kind of look like a Renaissance drawing, a Renaissance landscape. So I tried to take these elements like the trash bags and make it look like a medieval landscape or a Renaissance landscape. It has like an old and new. So that would be, if I relate to anything, it would be both of those goals. But yeah, that's a tough question because there's so much great art out there.
I have to keep dipping because it gets dry.